Just give me 1 second because one of the emails got out of order here.
No, Tattoos is not here. He's on vacation. Don't know when he's coming back. I don't have any contact with him at this point.
It's whenever he wants to.
Yeah, whenever he feels like he's had enough rest. I love you forever.
Okay,
Yes.
so then on May 30th, if you recall, that was on May 22nd. So about a week later, on May 30th, 13 sent in her story to read. And this was the story that she sent in. And I'm gonna read it again. This is the story she sent in. This is the email she sent me. Hi, as I was sitting here listening to all of your stories, I couldn't help but start to think about my story. As I was growing up, I was the black sheep of my family. My mom hated me. She was addicted to pills and alcohol. When I was 4, my mom stood over my bed with a sharp object and tried to unalive me. I grew up without the love that a child needed. When I was 10, my father unalived himself because he was sick. Heartbroken over not having his family, I suppose. When I was 16, I started to date someone that was abusive. He was addicted to coke and alcohol. He beat and raped me more times than I could count. There was times where I had no choice but to walk down a road. You see the word there, from head to toe. That went on for 5 years. When I was 21, almost 22, I started dating another addict. He was addicted to 420 and H. He would have mood swings on a daily because he couldn't have his fix, and he would lock me in a closet. He also locked me in a room for 3 months. After I would have to use the bathroom in a red Solo cup. I wouldn't eat until he allowed me to eat. I wouldn't sleep until he said I could sleep. It was terrible. I have PTSD from both of them. I am deaf not only because I was born partially hearing impaired, but because of the damage they have done with the countless beatings, kicking me in my head, slamming my face into walls, amongst other things. The first abuser, he was found unalive in his mom's living room, October 27th, 2022, due to an overdose of, you see the rugs. The other is in jail for grape rugs. Not only do I have an epic case of PTSD from my family and my exes, but I am almost 100% deaf. I will never and have never heard my babies cry. Thank you for spreading awareness, Scam, Poly, and Tattoo. And if you recall, and if you were here when we read this story, she was given a lot of support. There were a lot of people crying and upset, and people reaching out to her, following her, offering her support and love. And I would, at this time, like to know what her family members think about this, who are here. One is her sister. 13's name is Fallon. It is Fallon's sister, Tina. And then we have, you're the cousin, correct, Stephanie? Okay. Who would like to go first? Tina, thank you. You can unmute and speak.
Hi, Tina. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. So, first, hi, everyone. There's a lot to unload. She's my sister, so I've known her for almost 40 years. Nobody knows her better than her family. And I first want to say I apologize on behalf of my family for all of the pain, all of the lies, all of the turmoil, all of the just everything that she's done to everyone out there. I apologize on behalf of everyone that shares a bloodline with her. I got to admit, I'm new to this whole, Stan, thank you for having me, but I'm new to this whole world, right? I was contacted and, brought to my attention everything that's been going on and what my sister's done, and it doesn't surprise me. I cut her off about a year and a half ago, and it was a long time coming. My mother was diagnosed with cancer. It was battled for about two plus years, and you know, any mother doesn't want to see, you know, especially their daughter behaving the way that Fallon has all of her life. This is not new, okay? And also, you know, it was a heartbreaking situation just because we've tried to mend fences so many times, and it's a lot, you know, you can kind of imagine. But I've reached out the olive branch to her more times than I can count. She's caused a lot of pain to not just myself, my mother over and over and over. She has, you know, essentially no real life friends. My whole entire family has nothing to do with her. They want nothing to do with her because of her actions. And I was very reluctant to even come on here and talk about it because of all of the damage that she's done to me personally, because it's my little sister, you know, and I want nothing more than to have a relationship with my sister, but it's a two-way street, right? And so you can't force someone to change. You can't force someone to be a good person. No matter how many times I tried to speak with her, help her, try to reason with her. This is someone who has spent her whole entire life playing the victim, okay? And I want you to understand that 99.99% of anything that you've heard from her mouth is a lie. And what really kind of broke the camel's back for me in terms of, because I was back and forth on the fence, do I do this, do I not? I mean, you can ask Stephanie and Danielle, who's actually here, but she can't join. She doesn't have enough followers. So if you guys want to help her out with that, she might be able to join at some point. But we've tried so many times, and it's a dead end road, essentially. And what really made me kind of decide, all right, I'm going to join and kind of speak my piece was Scam, what you have on the screen right now. Her story, again, 99.99% lies. If you want to go back to the first page, I'll go through it. I mean,
Yeah, this is the first page. I mean, and first I want to say that I'm so sorry about what happened with your mom. She seemed like she was actually a really amazing, wonderful lady,
Yes.
from what I've heard. And so, you know, is there any truth to what she's saying here?
yeah, absolutely. And I want to go through everything and kind of clear the air on everything that she sent to you, because as I read it, my heart broke at the part of her talking badly about my mother. I mean, I've seen comments that she's made, I guess, on either Discord here or wherever. Essentially, anybody, anywhere, anyone will listen to her. And it's really heartbreaking. So, sitting here listening to all your stories, I couldn't help but share my story. You know, I was growing up, I was the black sheep of my family. She was, right? But there's lack of accountability. The reason why my sister was the black sheep is because she did it to herself. Okay. My mom hated me. My mom loved both of us equally. Okay. Um, so hard to hear her say that and put that on, you know, paper, put it down in words, because it's so not true. She was addicted to pills and alcohol. No. Let me explain something. We're all human beings, right? Every last 1.2 thousand of us that are here, and everybody has their own things going on in life. Um, Illnesses, right? And I don't want to go, you know, I want to respect my mother. My mother was a great person. She battled with things throughout her life that she did need help on. Was my mother and was she, you know, dependent on things? No, she was not. Okay, there was a period of her life where she was undiagnosed. Okay, and doing what she could to cope the best that she could. Okay, when I was 4, my mom stood over my bed. That sentence right there, the rest of it, you can read it on the screen. Absolutely 1000% untrue. Okay. And you have to understand a lot of the things that you hear from Fallon, I don't know where this 13 thing comes from, but Fallon's mouth is all a ploy to gain sympathy. Okay. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll understand why and what kind of person we're dealing with. She grew up without the love of a child, love a child needed. Again, when you play the victim your whole life and you blame everyone else for where you're at in your life and things that you go through, I mean, it's your own fault, right? It comes to a point where you have to grow up. And essentially, this is somebody that we're dealing with that never learned how to grow up, despite having a loving, supportive family, okay, who tried for years and years and years to support, help, guide, teach, reach out a hand. I mean, I've done it myself many, many times, aside from my mother, aside from extended family, cousins, aside from, you know, half brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, which we'll get into more later. She's just, you know, that kind of person. When she was 10, I mean, my father did pass away, okay, not the way that she's insinuating. My father had kidney failure earlier on, and he needed a kidney transplant. And when you have a kidney transplant, you have to take medication to sustain said kidney for the rest of your life. He was going through a period of depression, which resulted in him not being here anymore. Okay, so again, her verbiage kind of it just insinuates the wrong idea and the wrong truth. It's not true. Okay. When I was 16, I started to date someone that was abusive. I mean, I started to date someone, right? Accountability. You choose the kind of people you involve yourself with. You also choose the people that you continue to allow in your life. Okay? Be accountable. You could have walked away. She never had children with either of these two individuals that she referenced in this book of lies. The part about his dependency, I mean, both of them, yeah, they were dependent on things. Again, you have a choice, right? The parts where it says that, you know, hands were put and other things, not true to my knowledge. I mean, we've never, and this is somebody like, we've never lost contact with my sister up until a year and a half ago when my mom passed away. That's when the family all cut ties completely, right? We held on for my mother because she didn't want to leave this earth, not knowing that her family was together, right? But there were times where I had no choice but to walk down a road. You can read it there. Not true. We would have seen something. Okay, there was never any bruises. There was never any visible signs of anything to corroborate any of this. Okay, the dependencies, yeah. The physical stuff, no. Okay, especially not to the extent that she's referencing. There was never any visual signs of anything. 5 years it went on, yeah, because you chose to stay. Again, you weren't married to any of these individuals. You didn't have children with any of these individuals. Okay? We even tried having Fallon get counseling when she was younger, because it's like, you see a family member choosing the wrong people in her life, you want to help them, because that's what a loving family does, and that's what we want. Started dating another one, yeah, okay. The references to the certain dependencies, okay. You know, they were horrible people. When we first met them and we were introduced to them, they were nice, you know, and I guess they went through their own things and whatever, relied on what they relied on. As far as being locked in the closet, 3 months, again, there was never a period where we did not speak to her for 3 months. Okay.
Do you want me to move to the next page?
Yeah, I need to clear I love all the comments. Let me clear my display. Okay, that actually helps. Okay. He would have mood swings on a daily because he couldn't have, okay, yeah, I mean, that's what they do, right? When you have a dependency on something, she's married to one now that does the same thing, and they've been together for what? I don't even know, 15, 16 years stuff? I don't know, something like that. And didn't marry him until what, 13 months in, and three kids in. So she claims the same things. It's the same story with every guy that she's dated. Okay. Again, all the guys that she's dated, that she's made the same claims with, we've never seen any visible signs of anything. Okay. I would have to use the red Solo cup. No, because again, there's no truth in any of that. I wouldn't eat until he allowed me to eat. She's a bigger girl, and I'm not trying to be funny in that. It's just facts, right? My sister has always been a bigger girl. I know that there's been some claims that she was always a very tiny, skinny little mini, and I think that was when she was young, maybe 10. Beyond that, and puberty hits, and she's always been a bigger girl. Okay, we would have noticed. Again, there was no 3-month period where you disappeared, so how someone can lose that amount of weight, and it's not possible. I couldn't sleep until he said he could sleep. Again, who knows? I don't know if there's truth to that, but it was terrible. She has PTSD. Again, ploy for sympathy from both of them. Again, you chose to stay with them. This part, I am deaf not only because I was partially hearing impaired, but because of the damage that they did, the countless, physical things, and all the rest of that sentence. My mother has had partial hearing loss. Okay, it's a hereditary thing. My sister was born that way. Okay, my sister has never worked, let me rephrase. My sister has had jobs over the years, and I'm talking maybe the last job that she had was briefly in 2017, which I just want to also add in here a very important fact that anytime that she has had a job, she's always ended up accusing her superior of SA, something to that effect. Okay, it's always an excuse to not work. Okay, she never had insurance, so when it comes to she has cochlear implants now, which were paid for by the state. Okay, but again, it's a sympathy ploy. She was born that way. Okay, again, there's never been any proof of any of the physical stuff. Okay. In terms of, where those two ex-boyfriends are now, yeah, I believe one is incarcerated if he's still breathing. And then the other one is, ended up, he's not with us anymore due to his dependencies. Okay. I will never heard my babies cry. She has. I've witnessed the babies in the hospital. She's heard them cry. She's not completely deaf. Okay?
Yeah, this year she's almost 100%.
She's got majority hearing loss, yeah, but she's not completely deaf. And the fact that she's attributing the increase in that deafness to SA and all that stuff and physical, things having been done to her, it's not true. It's a lot. Yeah. I read this like 3 times and my mouth hit the floor. I immediately reached out to my cousins. I was very angry. I've spoken to my family members, aunts and uncles and cousins and everyone feels the same. Because the way that the comments that I saw, I forget exactly what it was, but she had said something. When I read it, the idea that I got that she was trying to get across was that, she said something about having ovarian cancer herself, which I just want to say it's crazy to me because my mother was diagnosed with cancer, pancreatic, for the first time. I believe it was in 2020. Went through chemo, went through all that, and then came back, clean bill of health. And then within a couple months, it was back. And when it came back, is when she started calling the whole family, not even calling, but sending text messages, claiming to have ovarian cancer herself. It's like, don't give my mom all the attention, give it to me, right? Because that's how she's always lived her life. I can't. I've lost count of all of the GoFundMe accounts that not only herself and her husband have put up over the years, not even just in recent related to her claims of having ovarian cancer, but even previous to that. It's always something. You know, my husband lost his job and I'm deaf, and before you know it, some man from another country is creating a GoFundMe for my sister, and then her husband's creating one. And it's a nonstop cycle of e-begging associated with lies and schemes to get people to feel bad for her. And if there's one thing that I can say my sister is good at, is not being a good person and lying and scamming people. And it's sick. And all the years of trying to help her, I've obviously given up. Like I said, I haven't spoken to her in over about a year and a half. My mother passed away. We finished everything with the cremation and everything, and she was blocked immediately, and it was a long time coming, and I wanted to cut her off before that. I cut her off for 2 years at a time. She's done so many things. We would be here for at least a week, and I'd still have more to tell you.
Wow. So is it true or not true that where she says she has stage 2 ovarian cancer?
So I've never seen any documentation proving that from the hospital, from an oncologist, from anything. None of my family has seen anything to support any of those claims. And just because I know my sister and my whole family feels the same way, we know her, we chalk it up to the same as always, another ploy to feel bad for me, give me money.
And here she says that she was so sick that she wasn't able to attend your mother's celebration of life funeral type thing.
She didn't come. She was invited. She didn't come. She said it was too far of a drive and she couldn't bring the kids. She was invited. She claims, so my mother went into hospice on May 3rd of last year. And on May 5th, 2023, she passed away. So on the 23rd, I live an hour away, and at the time, and I immediately went up there. She was there with her oldest 3 children. We were all there. She's made claims that I wouldn't let her come to the hospice center. I mean, she was there. Like, I have videos, I have pictures of all of us together. I put on the fake happy face for my mother so at least she can feel all of us together. Like, she makes these ridiculous claims that she wasn't allowed at the hospice center. She wasn't allowed at the memorial service. The memorial service wasn't held by me. So my mother was living at an elderly, a community, like a 55 and older community. And my mother was a beautiful person. Like, she would give you the skin off her back. I mean, she was dancing queen. Like, she was dancing around, always happy, always helping people. She was an amazing, beautiful person. The community loved my mother. Okay, it's a community of all people that hung out together and did activities and went on cruises together. I mean, everything. They put that on for her. My family didn't do that. My family, of course, was invited. Our entire family was invited. I had family from Georgia, from New Jersey, all coming in for that memorial, which again was put on by the community. My sister was invited. She didn't show up, but again, another way for her to, another thing for her to throw in the mix of, I wasn't invited, they, excluded me. She was included. She just chose not to come.
So I was just showing you the GoFundMe that she had.
It makes me sick And I saw it pop up, and I've already seen these things, and I don't know if you noticed me turn my head, but it makes me physically ill. It makes me sick to my stomach knowing that she is continuously doing this. And I know the people that are donating simply because they're good-hearted people. Probably 90% of them are in a financial hardship themselves, but they're good people. So what do good people do? They rally together to help someone else, despite what they're going through themselves. I mean, and it makes me sick to see all these people being taken advantage of. And I'm tired
And
of
where it says that medical treatment is really expensive, does she have insurance to cover that?
It looks like you're using the non-redacted screenshots instead of the redacted screenshots. I'm getting that message.
This is what I have, but this is what was on public. So
So let me just let you guys in on a very key important.
this one was the one started by her husband, or I guess is it her husband or is it her boyfriend?
It's her husband now, probably for the
Okay.
past maybe 4 years, 5 years max. I don't know. I didn't go to the wedding because he's a vile person just like her.
No, I don't know how much. This is how much she was saying. What is estimated that she would need.
Okay.
This is how much I believe her goal was.
Yeah. So let me explain that my sister, again, she has been on public assistance and Medicaid for as long as she's been eligible to apply for it. Okay. She doesn't need to pay for medical bills.
Mm-hmm.
Quick announcement, just really fast. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, Tina. If we go down and this live gets mass reported, because you know they're doing it, we will be immediately going to the next channel, ScamSlam 412. So if this goes down, we go directly to 412.
Is it okay to have Steffi give some input as to what's going on here so far?
I would
We
love
have more
that because
we have more information as well, but just some what we've talked about so far.
She already
yes,
summed up everything pretty much. I'm more here for moral support for my cousin because I hate the fact that she's going through this. We're all going through this, and yeah, I'm just here for moral support. But she summed up everything. You cannot trust her. She lies. She scams.
And so I'm gonna kind of skip around a little bit um, differently than I had kind of planned because sometimes things go in a different direction. Um, can you tell us? Let me bring up my next item here. Give me one moment.
I just want to say thank you so much. I'm so sorry you've had to deal with her for 40 years because, real talk, I've only been dealing with her for a little while. And while it was very sweet at first, it turned very toxic very quickly.
when I was listening to the beginning and the voice clips of her, and all I kept thinking was, yeah, there's this sweet innocent little voice that she puts on because that's what she does.
Can you tell us about the and I have documentation to go with it all. I don't know. Maybe I'll show some of the documentation here first. Hold on. Some of these things I'm not.
But thank you. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
You're beautiful people. Just
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Yeah, I mean, she has been doing some shit. Doing some shit. Causing some damage.
I'll tell you, it like I said, it's been a year and a half since I blocked her on everything, and every couple of weeks or months, I either get a follow request or a profile view on TikTok or Instagram or anywhere from either her from a new account or her husband. They keep trying to get in contact with me, and I just block, block, block. I think there's like 12 collectively over the last year and a half that I've had to block in addition to her old regular pages.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say, like the nails in the coffin with her. Like she never again, never
Right.
again.
Oh, I can't imagine being related to her. Oh my gosh. I feel so sorry.
You don't know the half of it.
I can't imagine. I mean, like I said, I've only been dealing with her for, I don't know, a little over a month maybe.
And the
Um,
lies are just piled on
tell.
top of each other. I mean, this is somebody who claims to, have dropped out of school because girls always wanted to fight her, and it was a delusion in her head. Like it was never. It was just always up here for her. And she ended up dropping out and then claiming that she had her GED. We've never seen a GED, even though we've asked several times. Like,
Right. So has she lied about her medical stuff before? Is that like a common thing for her?
I can tell you a story that pops up in my head immediately because it's so ridiculous. So the first boyfriend that she referenced in that email that she had sent to Scam was um, she was dating him at the time, and they worked at a convenience store. And Fallon stopped working there and sent him to go get her last paycheck. Because I was friends, I mean, it was a small town. Like, I just pretty much knew everyone at the store, management, everything. And she sent him to the store to get her last paycheck. And the excuse that he gave them on Fallon's behalf was she's bleeding from her ears, so she can't work anymore. She was not bleeding from her ears. We were younger. We were maybe like 17. She was 17. And she lived at home. Like, I saw her every day. There was no blood from her ears. So,
So this is a court document regarding petty theft of $100 or more with regard to Fallon
I know what this is about.
having some type of scheme with regard to Walgreens reward points.
Yeah. And so this is funny because I actually was talking to Justin about this. I sent him some screenshots. So this particular incident involved an ex-friend of Fallon's named Nicole. And Nicole was pretty much into like couponing and stuff, and Fallon had no idea about couponing. So it was actually a neighbor that lived upstairs where Fallon was at the time. And Fallon, I guess, started to become friends with her, and Nicole taught her about couponing, and they would go to Walgreens together. And Nicole had the Walgreens, card that did the point system, and so she basically put Fallon onto the whole couponing thing, and they racked up a bunch of points together. And Fallon knew, Nicole's Walgreens card number. I guess that's how you access the points. I never did any of that couponing stuff. It was too complicated for me. But essentially, one day Fallon went, and it wasn't one day, it was several different transactions. But she essentially went and was using Nicole's points because you can, I guess, use the points as cash. And she was buying crazy things. Nicole sent me actual screenshots. I have probably hours and hours of conversation between me and Nicole with voice notes and receipts and screenshots that Nicole sent me of text messages between her and Fallon, her and Tom, Fallon's husband, about that situation. And she was basically buying everything under the sun that you can imagine that they sell at Walgreens. I mean, cigarettes, diapers, female hygiene products, right, for that time of the month. I mean, just all these different things. And so when Nicole caught on to it and confronted Fallon about it and was like, hey, what the heck are you doing? Like, you're stealing money from me, essentially. Like, and Fallon came back at her with the sob story of, oh, we'll pay you back on Friday when Tom gets paid. We don't have food. I needed money. I'm so sorry. And I think that's some of the screenshots that I sent, maybe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's so many more. I mean, and I even told Justin, hey, reach out to Nicole because she would be more than happy to talk about that whole situation. Because there's a lot more to it. But essentially, Fallon stole from her. She got caught. Nicole is the type of person where she's not going to let something like that go. And she went and she sued Fallon and took her to court and she won.
Do you know what the consequences for that were?
I don't remember, but I know because again, me and Fallon have had a very rocky relationship over the years. Prior to that incident, Fallon had stolen cell phones. I mean, I actually got so Fallon has very bad credit. Okay, couldn't get cell phones. She came to me with a sob story. You know, can you please help me and help me get phones for myself, for Tom, and for her eldest son? Stupidly, I did it because again, as a sister, it's like, all right, I'll give her another chance. Maybe she's changed. She ended up screwing me over with that, and you know, I bought 2 Galaxy Notes, brand new at the time, an iPhone. I forget what gen it was at the time. That was one of the newer ones for her son, and she stopped paying for it. Nicole helped her hack the phones and sell them to like a pawn shop, even though I reported them stolen. A big thing. It's just so much with this girl. It's crazy over the like how many things that she's done to everybody. So I'm sorry. What was your initial question? Because I go off on a tangent, like thinking about new
I
things.
think this was a message from the victim of that crime. I think this was from Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, these are all the transactions she did on my account. It is $200, which I think this was somewhere between $100 and $200.
Yeah, it was a discrepancy about the amount because Fallon kept arguing, well, half of the points were mine, and it was just like a big back and forth in court. I believe I know what you asked about the consequences. I kind of kept my distance from Fallon at that point when all this was going on. That's why I found out about it through Nicole. And I have hours of conversation with me and Nicole because she was telling me about everything that happened with this situation. But essentially, the judge ruled in Nicole's favor. Fallon had all these things. Again, I can't list it out because I don't know for sure, but I do know for sure that Fallon kind of tried to play on the judge's emotions. I'm deaf. I just had surgery for one cochlear implant. I have to get another one. Poor me. I have kids at home. My husband lost his job, yada, yada, because of all of this. And she ended up talking it down. I don't know if it was just community service and a fine. It was something to that effect, but she definitely did have repercussions for that.
I think the police report does have it detailed what the transactions were here. Let me see. I know it's really hard to read because it's small print, but it says, let me see if I can find it. It says that basically her friend Nicole went to Walgreens and was going to use her points and then realized that her point balance was really, really low and talked to the manager. And when they checked, they saw that there were a variety of transactions. And Fallon later admitted to doing all the transactions. There was one for $29.57, and then one for $9.85, and then one for looks like 52.40.
Yeah, the 985 was probably a pack of cigarettes because she smokes like a fiend, and so does her husband.
And one for 45.28, one for 17.89, one for 48.30, and one for 20.04. So the total for the charges was $233.83. Actually, is what the police report says.
Yeah. I told you Nicole was very on top of it because she wasn't having it. And I was kind of happy, honestly, because it's like, wow, Fallon finally met her match. Like somebody that's not going to believe her crap and like kind of go back at her. So.
And was this from that person to you?
Yeah.
Says, yeah.
Yeah. So what you're talking about, the way that you came at me about this really peed me off, is because during our conversation is when she divulged to me that she was actually the one that helped my sister pawn the cell phones because I was in communication with Sprint and I'm like, listen, these phones were stolen. And I explained to them the situation. I did a good thing for my sister and her family in a bad spot. I got them phones on my account and they were leasing the phones which was like a lot of money for 2 Galaxy Notes at the time and the iPhone, right? Because they're expensive. And I called and reported them stolen because that's what the police advised me to do. I did that. Nicole herself, I guess, has connections. She knew a guy that owned a pawn shop. And so he kind of was able to, I guess, do something to the phones to bypass the stolen flag. I don't know. But essentially, this is where I found out from her. She's like, yeah, I helped Fallon do that. And I'm like, whoa. First of all, like you're reaching out to me on Facebook to try to apologize because again, at one point she fell victim to Fallon's lies and she was apologizing to me like, I'm so sorry that I believed anything Fallon said about you. I always knew her story was fishy. You never seemed like a bad person when I met you. I'm so sorry. And then she started telling me about the Walgreens situation. And then during that conversation is when she let me know that, by the way, I was the one that helped Fallon, hack, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Your phone. And I was like, well, hold up. And I was pissed at that point because I'm like, you just cost me a lot of money. You know what I mean? So that was her response. The way you came at me really pissed me off. Too bad. Like, you do dirt, you get dirt. I mean, it is what it is. So I still had no idea she was selling stolen property. That's what she's referring to, the phones.
So, can you tell me anything about the situation? I believe it happened in 2019, where there was some type of confrontation between you and Fallon at your mother's house back then.
Yeah. So let me give you the backstory. So Fallon, with all of her shenanigans, her whole entire life, right? She's caused turmoil with my entire family since she could walk and talk. 2017, my mother, myself, my mother's partner, and my son. So the four of us decided we were moving to Florida. We wanted a clean break. My mother had diabetic neuropathy at the time. So the cold weather in New Jersey was too much for her. So she wanted to move to a warmer climate. So we decided on Florida. We came here in 2017. My sister and her now husband, Tom, and their kids were living in New Jersey. They had an apartment. They were fine. We left. We just wanted peace and quiet, and we wanted to get away from the drama. We came to Florida. We were at our new place in Florida for 2 weeks. We get a phone call from Fallon. Hey, make room. We're on our way. Okay. We had a 3-bedroom apartment. Okay. A room for my mother and her partner, my room, my son's room. Okay. She came to Florida with no job herself, no job her husband, no place to live, no money. Okay. They abandoned their apartment. Okay. Come to find out it was because they were getting evicted from yet another place. They have more evictions than I can even count on my fingers and toes between the two of them. Okay. The amount of property, clothing, toys, furniture, everything that not only my family has helped them with, but gifted them, birthdays, Christmas, the kids, everything, because they were spoiled. We love those kids, right? Even for my sister and her husband. Abandoned. Okay, this was no different. Calls us and says, we're on our way, make room. We're not going to turn them away, right? We're not going to leave them with nowhere to stay. They stayed on my couches for 9 months. Now it's a family of 4, okay? In addition to the 4 of us that are already here, right? We now have an additional 4 people in our house. So 8 people in a 3-bedroom apartment. My sister and her husband and her 2 kids are sleeping on my couches for 9 months. They did not contribute to one bill, no electric bill, no rent, no nothing. 9 months, okay? My sister with her, the way that she is mentally, I'm trying to be as nice and PC as I can, and her husband's mental disorders, because he does have diagnoses, okay, unmedicated. He's a very volatile, abusive, verbally person, okay? 9 months calling my mother every name in the book, running up the electric, running up to everything, not contributing. The house is a mess. My sister would even get off her behind the cleaning, do dishes, no contribution whatsoever. Okay. 9 months came and my mother had it. She said, Tom has to go. He's got to get out. I am not going to be called a C word, a B word. The abuse to my mother was terrible. Or what, like, we opened our doors to you and this is what you do. Like, we tried leaving to get away from you people. Essentially, here you are, we opened the door for you. It's 9 months later, you get a job. You need to contribute. You need to take care of your family, your girlfriend and your 2 kids. He wouldn't get a job. He wouldn't do anything, right?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Tina, hold on.
Welcome in,
Uh,
Danielle. But can you mute for just a moment because it's difficult to
that's
hear.
exactly what I was gonna tell her. And
Danielle,
that is our other cousin, by the way,
yeah.
for everybody.
Danielle, click on your picture and then it should pop up and you should see the little microphone. You can tap it. There you go. So 9 months came, right? No job, no nothing, no contribution. We kicked him out. We said, Tom, you have to leave. My sister and the kids could stay because we're not going to put the children and my sister out on the street. Tom had to go because his abuse was disgusting. Okay. My sister took it upon herself to take the kids and go with him. Okay. At that point, they had lost their car. So now they don't even have a car. They have no money. We weren't giving him money to go find a place. You know what? You had 9 months to figure it out. You're a grown man with a family. Figure it out. Okay. But we're not evil people. So my mother's partner had a car. It was a secondary car from her sister who had passed away a couple of years prior. We had an extra car. She let him take that car. So at least he had a car to go look for a job. He could sleep in it, right? Because you're a grown man. Like, figure it out. My sister took the kids and went with him and chose to live in that car with him and blame us for making them all homeless. We did not make them all homeless. We kicked him out. She was welcome to stay with the kid, okay? So this all happened that day that you're referencing. It was a big dramatic thing, okay? You see my sister putting all of, the toys for the kids and whatever clothing she had in a garbage bag, okay? Went to the front door, was screaming back and forth at my mother. My mother's an elderly woman. I'm trying to hold my mother back because she's a little spitfire, and I don't want my mother getting worked up because, again, elderly woman, she doesn't need to deal with any of this. We moved to Florida for her to have peace, right? And she was getting worked up. So I kept trying to pull my mother back. My sister was screaming at her. Her husband now husband, Tom, comes back around the door, calls my mother another obscenity. My mother goes to lunge and grab the door to pull it open and yell at him and basically like, no, F you, like that kind of thing. My sister took the door and said, you're never going to see your grandkids again. Slammed the door into my mother's shoulder. I ripped the door open, okay? By this point, my mother's partner is pulling my mom back in, like, April, you need to go sit down. She's checking her shoulder, getting her ice. I pull the door open. I go around the corner because you open the door to the apartment and it goes to the left. My sister's down the left to the hallway. I went out there and I'm like, you effing B. Like, I'm screaming at her because she just hit my mother, okay? At no point did I put my hands on her. She called the cops and lied to them and said that I hit her. The laws in Florida, because there was an issue, it was, years prior that I guess a strange wife, she left her husband, they had kids. She left him, he was stalking her, whatever it was, right? The cops kind of just leave him alone, don't answer his calls, that kind of thing. Well, the husband found the wife and the kids at a restaurant and shot her and unalive, okay? So the law has changed in Florida now so that anytime there's a domestic situation, someone needs to go to jail. So I ended up being cuffed in front of my son. I've never been in trouble in my life. I was with a cop for 10 years. I'm a good person. Like, here I am in the back of a car, and I spent 24 hours in a jail cell because of her lies. The cop that came on scene drove me to the jail, and he was like talking to me the whole way. He's like, Tina, he's like, I know you didn't do anything. She showed me her head. She tried to tell me that there was a bump on her head. He's like, I did not see anything on her head. I know you didn't do this. And the reason I know about that story with the husband and wife is because he was telling me the story on the way to the jail. He's like, listen, I have to take you in just because of the law. He's like, I know you didn't do anything. This is what you're going to do. When you get there, he gave me his badge number, his name. He said, you need to tell them when you get there that they need to contact me, and I'm going to get this taken care of. The next day I was released. Okay. So that was that incident.
Right. And those charges were dismissed against you.
Yes.
Now, one thing that was concerning about the report was there was also a witness to this too, and they verified your version of the events as well. But let me see. When they spoke, I believe, with your mother at the time. Hold on. I think that there was something stated that there was previous possible like violent events between Fallon and your mother.
Fallon has, on several occasions, been inappropriate with my mother.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been years, right? I mean, my sister has a habit of, she's always been abusive towards my mom. Sorry.
Can you define in which ways? Are we speaking like physically, emotionally, mentally? You know what I mean? That type of thing.
It's usually not like with her fists or anything like that, but like a door or a shoe or something of that nature, in addition to the stealing, the lying, the breaking of furniture. When we allowed her boyfriend, to take the car and she went with him, they got a dog, let the dog pee in the back seat. They broke off the door handles. They busted the radio. They broke the air conditioner on purpose, maliciously. Like, it's been abuse on all levels, with my mother, with my family, with everyone.
And this was while your mother was dealing with cancer, correct?
This was, no, my mom had not been. This was in 2017 when we first moved to Florida. My mother was not diagnosed with cancer until 2020. But prior to that, my mother's always had, she had diabetes at the time. She had diabetic neuropathy, which is like nerve pain associated with diabetes. She also had a couple of car accidents where she had rods and pins in her neck and her back. So when you hit my mother, right, when you hit somebody that has those kinds of things physically, it's a lot more painful, right?
Right. On the report, it says, and this was written by the officer, Tina stated Fallon attempted to pull the door open, but she would not allow her to, and was attempting to pull the door closed. And it also says, it says April attempted, which is your mother, attempted to walk outside to talk to Fallon, but she would not, meaning you, would not allow her to, and was attempting to pull the door closed. Oh, wait. Sorry, I got mixed up. Tina advised that her mother, April, attempted to walk outside, talk to Fallon, but she would not allow her to due to past history of physical violence between Fallon and April. So that's between Fallon and your mother.
Yeah, I tried stopping my mother at all costs because my mother is spicy. She's Sicilian, and she wanted to have not the last word, but she wanted to basically tell her, like, you don't have to go. And how dare you allow him to talk to me that way? How dare you talk to me that way? And I know better. Like, it's not worth it, Mom. Like, she is who she is. She's following him. She's stupid enough to take her children in a vehicle to go live. They have no money. They have no nothing. They don't have anything. No jobs, no place to live. These kids are young. Like, this is a woman who's supposed to be a good mother, right? Making that decision. There's no talking to her, there's no reasoning with her. And I don't want you going out there because I'm not going to allow him to curse at you anymore or for her to hit you or do anything else of the sort.
And for anybody who doubts that this is her sister and her family, we have proof of that. This is at a family event.
That's my mother in the red. That's her partner right in the front with the grill shirt. That's her daughter on the left. That is her other son right in front of Fallon with the black shirt. That's at my mother's house in the community that I told you about. And there I am, and there's my sister, and there's our other two cousins, not the ones that are here right now. And there's Fallon holding my son when I lived out in Kansas City, Missouri with my ex. That was his birthday. My mother, my sister, and Tom, her now husband, came to visit. And that was in like 2010. And there's Fallon again. With my mother, we were at Applebee's that night. So to say that my mother hated her is disgusting because
that's your mother that's sitting next to her, but we didn't want to put her in the photo.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then I have some information about a scam that her and Tommy were running, which we're calling the sperm scam.
Dun dun! The sperm scam.
Can you tell us about that? And we have some messages to go along with it, but maybe you can kind of recap what this sperm scam was about.
So here's the funny story. So me, Danielle, and Stephanie, we're very close. We've always really been very close. And so Danielle's saying she forgot about it because it's kind of funny. We have a group chat, me, Danielle, and Stephanie, and we like talk, about the kids and life and whatever. And Danielle took a screenshot of a Facebook post and sent it in our group chat. And I read it, and Danielle was kind of confused. She's like, what the heck is this? And I'm reading it, and I'm like, I already know my sister. Something's going on, right? So I saw that girl in that screenshot there, the screenshot within the screenshot, and I found her on Facebook. And after reading her message, she said something about don't trust him. He's a scammer. He did X, whatever it says. You could probably see it better than me. I forget. But
yeah, it says this was, I guess, under his post about a GoFundMe. Yeah. The GoFundMe about Fallon. Someone put a comment on Facebook and said, "Scammer, get a job instead of robbing off women who want kids, giving poor girls false hope."
So I read that and I immediately went to Facebook and I put my investigative hat on and I found that girl and I messaged her and I have a whole thread with her. In the screenshots I sent, like I said to Justin, a couple of them because there's so many. And I basically said, what you see there may sound strange, but do you actually know that person? And she responded, no. Many girls put comments on a page about him saying he was getting the money and not showing up, using vulnerable women. And so I had this conversation with her and come to find out Fallon and Tom were in a fertility group for same gender couples, females, who want to have kids. And obviously there's a very important missing factor there that's needed to have children. So essentially he was making posts in that group stating that, hey, give me X amount of money and I will send you a sample. And once he got the money, he would block them.
Right. And he never submitted any samples or anything.
I don't think any woman would want that sperm from him.
Wow, so really giving people false hope.
Disgusting. And this is a woman who has children. It's really alarming, It's really alarming.
Photographs I saw of the women that were scammed were an LGBT couple, I'm assuming.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they were actually in the UK.
Yes.
Terrible.
This is from the person who was scammed. He needs to be reported to the police taking all these girls' money that just want to have kids. It's not right at all. Is there truth to the rug addict stuff
Yes.
in regard to her current husband?
Yes, and I can tell you this. I mean, this man, you see it right there on the screen, what I said in blue about the dependencies and also the diagnosis. It's a severe diagnosis. I mean, the anger and the rage, and this is a very big man. I'm talking like 6 foot, 3, 4, 5, maybe. He's really big. And you can imagine someone of that stature with such rage and anger and not on the appropriate medicine, right? That's necessary to manage that. He's very scary. And I do have videos upon videos of him in his rage towards me that it, and I told Justin, I told him that I had it, but I even watching it and listening to it and reliving it, it gives me anxiety. So he's just a very scary, disgusting person. And
Do you know Fallon was involved with this whole sperm scam thing?
they do everything together. It's a toxic, disgusting dependency and just organized thing that they do together. There's other things that I'm sure you're going to get into that he and Fallon do together collectively that is, I don't know if it's even possible, going to make everybody's stomach turn even more. I know it did mine. I'm surprised I don't have a bucket next to me because I'm just disgusted with a lot of the things that I've heard that I didn't know about. I mean, I knew about this obviously, but I've even found out more things. So
Right. And so here's you replying back, saying my sister's a scammer, thief too. She's stolen money from me and our whole family. And there's some other stuff here. What's the history of her stealing from you and your family? Other than you told us about the phones, is there other things?
oh yeah, she's stolen money. She's actually taken my mother's debit card and cleared out her bank account. She's stolen from me jewelry, clothing, money, makeup throughout the years. I mean, everything that you can imagine. She steals everything.
And yeah, this couple was actually in the UK. And you reply that they're professional scammers. They've scammed nearly everyone they know, and my entire family included. And this is from back in May of 2023. They stolen money from me. My mom continued to scam my uncle, who's currently paying their rent. So, what was happening with the uncle paying their rent?
They collectively probably owe my aunt and uncle probably 6 figures or close to, and I'm not even exaggerating. My whole entire family is amazing people. Like, not just my cousins, but like my aunts, my uncles, everybody is amazing. And we love my sister's kids, despite what my sister has done, despite what, her husband has done. They're innocent children. And my sister knows that mentioning and using the children pulls at our heartstrings, especially my aunt and my uncle. They don't have kids of their own. They're very well off. They have fostered children throughout the years and made a tremendous impact on many families' lives in that, capacity. And so my sister knows that, and she knows what to say to get people to feel bad for the kids and give her whatever she's asking for. They have lost, like I said earlier, they have been evicted from apartments. Her husband cannot keep a job. Fallon refuses to work. They're a family of 6, right? Things are expensive, right? Rent is expensive. I mean, they'll never own a house. They have the worst credit in the world, but he can't keep a job. So when he loses a job, they're at risk of being evicted. So my sister defaults right to texting my aunt and my uncle with a big long, she's even sent me screenshots of the messages that she gets from my sister, talking about, we don't have food, we're going to lose our place to live, please help us. My aunt and my uncle at that time were paying my sister's rent, $1,600, for about 9 months. 10 months. Until my aunt got so angry with my uncle, because my aunt kind of reached her limit before my uncle did, because he's like a big softie, but my aunt is not. She reached her limit, and it was actually causing a grift between them. And she looked at him and was like, you're not sending her any more money. That's it. That's it.
So do you know when he stopped contributing toward their rent? Because I know you said it was like 9 months, $1,600 a month. Do you know when that stopped?
We're in June right now, so if I had to guess, it was probably around November of last year.
Hmm. Any idea how they're managing to pay rent now?
I have absolutely no idea because, like I said, I haven't spoken to her. I mean, obviously she's scamming people. I did get wind that Fallon has one of those pages on a website where women don't really have much clothing on, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, only friends.
There you go. Which is not surprising. I know in the past that she actually was doing that kind of behavior within like adult Facebook groups for money. Um, and then he was actually doing the same thing. Funny enough, he had a page, I guess a profile on Facebook as himself to try and get, money as a man doing that kind of work. And then he also created a fake female page and would take other girls' scandalous photos and pass them off as his own.
What?
Dirty.
Wow.
That's dirty.
Wow. Is there anything else that Stephanie or Danielle want to add at this point? I do have some more information to present, but I wanted to make sure they get an opportunity to speak on anything that we've discussed so far.
Danielle, mention about your
I was
brother.
just about to say, Danielle got scammed by her too. Her own cousin, she got scammed by.
Danielle, tap your picture and then unmute.
Hello.
Hi, Danielle. Welcome in.
Hey. This is my first time doing this, so bear with me. So there's just been so many things, but when my cousin Fallon years ago was with one of her ex-boyfriends, she had reached out to my dad and my brother and said that, she was in a relationship that wasn't healthy, that was abusive towards her. So my dad and my brother and my mom decided that they were going to move Fallon to New York. At the time, she was living in New Jersey, to come out and live with us, and we were going to take care of her to get her out of the situation that she was in with her boyfriend. The day that they were supposed to go out there and pick her up, she went ghost. She didn't answer my brother. She wouldn't answer my brother. She wouldn't answer my father. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know they couldn't get in contact with her. So I don't know what all happened to that because I was kind of young when it had happened. And then we kind of just fell out of touch for a while. And then we reconnected, and when we did, it was probably like 2017 maybe. And she'd reached out to me, and all she really talked about was Tina, my cousin. She was just trying to make me dislike my cousin, stop talking to her, just saying all these things that I knew wasn't true about her, because that's just what she does. She tries to pin her family against each other, so we don't speak to each other because Fallon has always been jealous of Tina. And then another time she reached out, which was pretty recent. I think it was after my aunt had passed away. She'd reached out to my brother and asked him for money because she needed, was it tires?
$250 and she has not spoken to my cousin, her brother, in how many years, Danielle? Like at least 10 years?
Yeah, it's been a while, and reached out to her saying that, Tom was out of work, they didn't have money, and if he could send her money to get brand new tires for their vehicle, which my brother said no to, of course, because they weren't really talking, and I had already warned my brother, because my cousin was like, make sure you tell your brother, if Fallon asks for money, that she's lying about what she needs it for.
Yeah, we already know it gets to a point where it's like you already know what's going to happen next. And I reached out to Danielle. I'm like, hey, heads up, Fallon's probably going to reach out to you guys because she's reaching out to everybody in the family, people she doesn't even talk to, for money. And she did do it. It's just predictable.
Well, there was something that was that I saw posted online where Tommy and another guy started kind of like a home improvement company or something. And it doesn't look like that's functional now, or it that doesn't exist anymore from what we could tell. And we couldn't find any record of them being a licensed business or contractor in the state of Florida.
They were not. So it was him and one of his coworkers. They worked at, I think it was called American something. They did like fumigation, dealing with like chemicals and stuff, and that kind of thing. And they took it upon themselves to say, "Hey, we should start our own contracting business." And asked Fallon to make them business cards, and I actually made that business card. By the way, pretty good, right? Like, yeah. But no, they were not licensed at all. They just woke up and on a whim were like, we need to make more money. Let's go and be contractors. So definitely not a legit business at all.
Wow. Yeah, it didn't seem like they were licensed or insured or anything like that.
No.
Wow. Well, what I have up here on the screen was one of the evictions that we were able to locate, and this one's from 2021. So this was one of the eviction documents that we were able to find where the landlord was requesting damages in the amount of $5,000. So there's some documents about that, about the eviction, right here. And there was a this was a writ of possession with regard to that same eviction where it looks like they had to leave that property. We don't have the address on there, of course, but you might know what maybe that one is referring to.
Yep.
And then I have, do you know anything about this? There was a civil lawsuit where she was attempting to sue a company called Real Stock.
I think you're reading my mind throughout this whole time that I've been here with you, and that's why I laughed, because I'm like, I think I know what she's going to talk about next. My sister has a habit, so she's money hungry, right? She'll scam and lie and scheme on anybody and everybody, and when that doesn't work, she's on to the next one. She has tried to sue many different landlords, claiming black mold, claiming, I don't know, broken, the door fell on me because the hinge was off and they refused to come fix it. Like, she goes into things with an agenda, always an agenda. If she tries to befriend you, there's always an agenda. If she rents an apartment from you, there's an agenda,
So this case, from what I was able to determine, it seemed like maybe there was a general type of area at this apartment complex that included a pantry, and she claimed that there was some type of rippled area on the floor, and then she fell and had some type of injury. Do you know whether she actually sustained any injuries or, real injuries with regard to any type of fall at this property?
The key word that you said is real injury, and that would be no. Did she put on a show and go to the ER and get a crutch? Yeah. Did she ever use it? No. only when she was walking out of the hospital.
Yeah, this is the complaint that she filed, trying to sue the Real Stock Corporation, and giving the details of what she stated was a fall in a pantry area, uh, which I guess this is like an apartment complex in a general area. But then later, this case was dismissed with prejudice, and it looks like, according to what I can determine, that she did not proceed with the lawsuit at some point. She decided to not pursue it, or she didn't show up to a court date or something, because it was dismissed with prejudice, meaning that they will, and it says for lack of prosecution. So it sounds like she either didn't show up to court or she didn't take some type of necessary step to continue on with this case.
Yeah, I have some clarity on that. So, in my family, we have a lawyer, and he's in New Jersey, and that lawyer has friends that are lawyers, right, in other states, Florida. And it just came down to my sister, my aunt, and my uncle would not give her the money for the lawyer because, again, you have to pay lawyers to retain them. She has no money. That's why she's suing left and right. They wouldn't give her money for the lawyer. Therefore, he wouldn't take it pro bono because she had no case. And because he was kind of like, well, we're going to win. And when we win, you'll get your money. And he was like, yeah, no. So.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, a lot of injury attorneys will take cases on a contingency basis, meaning that if they feel it's a good case and that they're going to win it, then they will take it on contingency, which means they will do all the work and then they will take a percentage of whatever the payout is at the end. But obviously, this attorney did not feel that this was an easily winnable case. So they were not willing to do this on a contingency without some type of money paid up front.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so that was an attempted lawsuit, but did not end up going through with that. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but there was another situation that we were involved with, 13, well, Fallon with, was that Polly, who's here in the box, I wanted to buy her a refrigerator for her birthday. She had been without a refrigerator for several months already, that was not working, and I had attempted to make efforts to try to, get her one, and she didn't want to accept it because she's a proud person. She didn't want to accept anything like that. And when her birthday was coming up, I finally convinced her to be able to accept it as a birthday gift.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is different. It's a birthday gift. Please accept it. So I was going to make sure that she got that. And a few people had expressed interest in maybe helping out with any type of gift for Polly. And so I'd send an email out to a few people. I think it was like maybe 8 or 9 people altogether, just who had expressed interest. I wasn't trying to have a fundraiser. I wasn't trying to do a GoFundMe. I was willing to buy the refrigerator fully myself if that's what I had to do, because I was going to make sure she got that. So Madeline had expressed interest in contributing to the refrigerator, and so she was part of this email. And so this was the email that was sent out on May 28th. And, this was just, again, to a small group of people who had expressed interest. I wasn't trying to, like I said, have any kind of fundraiser or anything like that. It was people who said they wanted to contribute. And that's what this email said. Some of you have expressed interest in the past few weeks about helping Polly to replace her broken refrigerator, which has been inoperable for several months. And, that she was now willing to accept it as a birthday gift. And I said that I found a refrigerator at Lowe's that could be, and I did a bunch of research on it to find which one would work for her, meaning size wise and style wise, and which ones would be willing to deliver it in a prompt manner and remove her old refrigerator and all of these things. So I had researched this for several hours to find the right place and the right thing and all of that. And this was the email I sent out. And I said if anybody wanted to contribute, I did not want anybody to send me any kind of money toward it. I asked them to buy a Lowe's gift card to apply toward the purchase because I was going to get it at Lowe's. I do say, or please do not feel obligated in every way, even if no one else participates. I am going to make sure she gets that refrigerator for her birthday gift, even after I have to pay for it all in full on my own. And so, I gave people a screenshot of the refrigerator with all the details and all of that. And I thanked everybody that was a part of this email. And this is the refrigerator that I was going to arrange to purchase, and the whole total, with everything calculated with the delivery and removal fees and all of that. So Fallon said she was going to help, but then she never did. And she ended up getting some other friend who goes by a username of Trouble, got this person named Trouble to end up buying the same exact refrigerator that I had planned. I had all this planned for to purchase, and bought that for Polly for her birthday. And this was after I had collected $115 in gift cards already from other people. She also states that she contributed a Lowe's gift card in the amount of $150 toward it. And she did not, because I did not receive anything from her. They went behind my back and bought the refrigerator. I'm glad Polly got the refrigerator. Don't get me wrong, because that was the biggest thing. But I had all of this that's like planning a big surprise for your best friend, and then somebody goes behind your back and does all of that. And then not only that, she started to GoFundMe for Polly without Polly's permission, to try to collect some kind of money based on Polly's medical condition, and stating that, and with a lot of inaccuracy, saying that Polly needed help with a number of things, including medical expenses and a mortgage, which she doesn't have a mortgage, she pays rent, and she doesn't have medical expenses because she has excellent medical insurance.
Yes.
And she did all of that behind Polly and my back. She was messaging people in our group, in our little, ScamSlam fam group, trying to get money on a GoFundMe in Polly's name, and had her picture on there and her age and different information about her medical condition and about herself that she did not want put out there. This is the GoFundMe that she created. There you go, Fallon Nicole. She was trying to raise supposedly $2,500. At the time I took the screenshot, there was $65 already collected within a number of hours. I think it did go up to $85. And this is all the information that she put out there about Polly on this GoFundMe that she started. So I don't know, Polly, do you want to speak about that?
Yeah, she didn't really want to take it down. I kept giving her all the reasons it needed to come down, and she would not take it down. She would not. And I was finally like, fine, will you just at least take my picture off of it? Like, for fuck's sake, this is not anything that you can do when you're in awareness. I mean, I recently had cancer surgery, and there were days where I didn't have food, and I still didn't start a GoFundMe. People would have said a lot of shit if I had. You don't do it. You don't do it. When you're in awareness. If you're, not in awareness, do whatever, and nobody's going to say anything. But if you're in awareness, you can't do that.
No, because somebody can try to claim that you're some kind of scammer or beggar or whatever, and this was not anything that Polly asked for or authorized. And when I confronted 13 and one of her friends about it, they got angry with me. They cursed at me. They sent me disrespectful messages. They told me that I was just trying to take credit for getting her the refrigerator, which no, I was just trying to get her a birthday gift. They refused to take down the GoFundMe. I informed people that I became aware of uh, to request their monies back from the GoFundMe, and I told people to report the GoFundMe as a fraud because she refused to take it down. And we didn't know. I mean, we didn't know what was going to happen with these monies. I mean, she could have very easily used Polly's situation to collect this money and keep it for herself. Even like we don't know what her intentions were. We really don't know what her intentions were, and for her to do it behind everybody's back. And when she sent out the message with the link, she was like, like please keep this a secret because we don't want Polly to know. Like she was wanted people to keep it hidden and secret. So right there, that's really suspicious. It was shady. So I don't know what her intentions were on this. I mean, she insists she was just trying to do something nice for Polly, but Polly, asked her to take it down and she refused.
I literally begged her to take it down. I told her all the reasons why over and over and over. She can't say that I
No,
didn't.
she didn't post it on the Discord. She messaged people in the Discord. Yeah, and she did not have permission to do that. I mean, it's still my Discord, so she shouldn't have been doing that. And with the history of the scams and everything else, again, I don't know what her intentions were, but with the history of scams and everything else, I can't help but have the opinion that this was also some type of scam.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think as family members? Well, Tina disappeared.
Hey, sorry. First of all, Polly, I'm really sorry.
Thank you.
I'm really sorry. Definitely a scam. I feel like my sister saw it as just another opportunity to take advantage of someone's situation and make it about her, which she always does, and try to profit off of it, as she always does. And I don't know where she came from, because if it weren't for the fact that she looks just like my mom did when my mother was young, when my sister was a baby and my mom was a baby, I wouldn't believe that we were related, that she was even related to anybody in my family, because nobody in my family would do something like that.
Right. Oh, she did so much worse to me. This is just the icing on the cake.
She has no friends in real life. Like, and what my cousin said before about, when my sister meets someone, there's always an agenda, right? And I don't know if it's the low self-esteem. I feel like it's more than that. There's some sociopathic something in there in her brain, her DNA, that she preys on people, and when that isn't enough, she can't, if she can't get you to believe her, trust her, like her, she has to like pin you against everybody else around you so that you kind of are drawn into her. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's always with the intention of drawing you close to her so that she can take advantage. She doesn't have anyone. She has not one family member that speaks to her. She has not one real friend. The only person probably even closely related to my family that she may speak to still is my other cousin from the other side of the family's substance addicted wife, who probably would do the same thing as she is. So.
Yeah, that's why, like, when I became aware of this GoFundMe, and Polly hadn't authorized it and didn't want it, and they refused to take it down. Like I was just, I had a really bad feeling as soon as I came across it. And even though I didn't even know her past, once I found out about it and found out how they were trying to do this in a really sneaky manner, all the red flags went off for me, and I said that it immediately needed to be taken down, and to, because I felt like she was trying to somehow scam people that were in our group, and so ever since then, she has not been, a part of our group. But originally, like, we really gave her a chance. Like, we really believed her story when she sent it in to us,
Yes.
and all of that. I mean, she was, a lot of us, a lot of people became close to her. They sympathized with her situation, and all of that, and some people here trusted her. But again, when I saw this GoFundMe and she refused to take it down, like, to me, a normal person would say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I had really good intentions. I really just wanted to help Polly. I didn't realize that she didn't want this. I'm sorry if this is hurting her feelings. I'm going to take it down. I had good intentions, but maybe I just made a mistake. I'm going to take it down if she doesn't want it." But no, she insisted that she was not going to remove it. She was not going to take it down. And she got really nasty with me and a couple of other people, and was just adamant about it, that she was not going to take it down. But yeah, she tried to befriend a lot of people, and a lot of people believed her, trusted in her, and got close to her. Yeah, it's down now. Everybody did get their money back, and it was taken down, I think the same day. I'm not sure if it's from the reports or if they did finally voluntarily take it down. I did have some messages that you had, and so I can maybe just go through those to see if there's anything else that you had discussed with one of our members, that you wanted to clarify, because this was the start of it all here, where you were contacted um, about Fallon.
And I have to just preface this. My opening is like, so as I said earlier, Fallon has contacted me from various fake pages, and I've even got like the text app, like, hi, and then all of a sudden it's her, and it's like this big thing, and I just end up blocking a million numbers. I was kind of off put by this. I was like, is this Fallon again? What is this? Is this another one?
Right. So here's where some of the conversation went. Here's where you say that you hadn't spoken to her in over a year. She's a pathological liar, scammer, all-around horrible person who is bored and miserable with her own life. She needs to worry about taking care of her 4 kids and get a job to pay her bills. Do you have any concerns for, let's say, her household?
I do, and I battle with it every single day, and I don't want to cry on live on TikTok, but I love those kids. Shit. I love her kids. At the time that I was speaking with her, she was living in a not so good area, I guess. Lots of crime, that kind of thing. But it's what they could, I say could afford, but they can never really afford anything. But that's what they had. And the kids were, the ones that were of school age were in school. And my sister's children are very fair. And my sister felt that her children did not belong in that particular town's school system because of the majority of, the children being in that school of a certain color.
What?
And so she pulled the children out of school. She claims, and she told me and my mother, that the kids were being homeschooled. obviously me and my mother are like, that's a freaking lie. First of all, you're deaf, right? How are you homeschooling children? You didn't even graduate school yourself, and you're deaf, right? Quote unquote, according to you, you're deaf. You haven't even heard your kid cry before, but yet you talk to your children like she hear. It's just all BS, and I'm very worried about those kids. I still don't know to this day if they're in school. I know that her house was always disgustingly dirty. They keep getting dogs. The dog pees and poops all over the house. She doesn't know how to clean. She basically has a bucket with like dirty piss water, and that's what she uses to mop. Like I get sick to my stomach when I think about it because I feel bad. Like I am her sister by blood. Those are my kids, right? Those are my niece and my nephews. And I mean, I'm a single mom, right? I have my son who has his own issues that I have to deal with. I pay all the bills. I do everything. I do everything on my own, and I'm in no way, shape, or form sorry.
I'm sorry, Tina.
Okay, take a minute if you need to. It's
It
okay.
just sucks, right? Because I'm not in a position to take them. So I still have the guilt, right? Because it's like, fuck, like I wish I was, you know? Do I think that they're safe in that house? I don't think physically they're in danger, but I mean, if you twist it, like they could be. Like, the house is not kept, it's dirty. My sister does not take care of them. They're exposed to an abusive father. Let me tell you something. When the youngest baby was born, I was staying at their house for a month, okay? There's a newborn. My sister would go to the supermarket to get food or whatever. He would put the baby in the little bouncy seat in front of the TV, and he would go outside and sit there and smoke for hours. The baby would start screaming, crying. He would just ignore him. I took care of that baby. So it's like, if my sister's not there watching the kids, I don't know, they're not eating, they're not being taken care of, right? And aside from that, he's abusive. The screaming is disgusting. Those kids are afraid of him. And like, hell, I'm a grown woman and I was afraid of him. You know what I'm saying? So like, it breaks my heart and I hate thinking about it. And it's like, do I call CPS? Do I not? Right? And I feel like such a horrible person when I talk about it, because it's like, on the flip side of that, I'm a mom to my son, and I have to worry about retaliation because they are very vindictive people. If you like this, doing this right now, like again, I was on the fence because it's like, I don't need that in my life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need the retaliation. I don't need to be afraid that I'm going to be retaliated against. I don't think she knows where I live. I've tried to keep that, you know, and I've gotten as far away from her as I can. But I'm afraid of that. But I'm afraid for those kids. I am.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, it is concerning.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
And my mother had the same concern, but it's like none of us could bring ourselves to make that phone call. Because if I pick up the phone, if anybody picks up the phone, she's immediately going to think of me. Right? Even if it's not me, she's going to think it's me. And then that puts me in a situation where I'm watching over my shoulder like, you know, I don't know.
Right.
I
Right.
have to worry about my son and his safety.
Oh, my heart is breaking off.
And so, sorry to kind of jump around, but I'm going back to your message. Here's where you were, because we didn't even know about this. This is where you told us about the sperm scam that they were running on Facebook, and the pictures of themselves, and talk about the only friends. I'm not going to go on about that. There's some other things. Um, here you do say you mention about school. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Yeah, and this is it kills me because it's like, how does she have so much free time to get mixed up in all these things and these scams and the drama and the garbage? You have 4 kids, right? And I would think, like, I can hear, right? I'm there's nothing wrong with me, knock on wood, like, and it's hard just being a parent alone to one child and working a job and running a household and my dog and my 3 cats. Like, you're a mother of 4 children who you supposedly homeschool, yet you have all this free time to do all of this miscellaneous crap online and scamming, and you're OF, and like I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
We've kind of wondered the same thing too. How does somebody have time for that when you know have a family and all these other commitments? But uh,
Yeah, I wonder that. I wonder that. And I've seen her everywhere, constantly talking about me everywhere in everybody's life. And yeah, I wondered, how does this Beezy
yeah,
have the time with 4 kids?
she calls us scammers and liars.
Yeah.
Because you're against her, that's why.
Right, right. And we know that. We know that. We know that. There's no proof that we're scammers or liars at all, but that's why we're showing proof that, you know, she kind of is.
Hmm. More than kinda.
And this was where they were telling you about the pizza thing. And she's been with her current husband off and on for what, 14 years?
Something like that, something disgusting. He's a vile human being. He's gross in every on every level.
Does he have any other children?
He does. He has a son who is my son's age, I think about 17, 18, and his son made a decision years ago he wanted nothing to do with him.
Mm.
Nothing to do with him. I have one picture of my son and him together because they were really close at one point, and the boy, he want nothing to do with that man. And I don't blame him. I think it was probably the smartest thing he could have done at his young age, and he made the right decision.
Do you know if either one of them are in any type of active addiction?
I know that her husband is and always has been a very big pothead, like all day long, every day. And if he doesn't have it, he rages even more. My sister also has that same dependency. She's claimed to do, you know, shrooms and other things. I don't really know. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. Um, I really wouldn't.
And it's saying the family disassociated a long time ago. Here you do say though that she never beat your mom, but she was verbally abusive and stole from her.
Yeah. She never like beat her. She wasn't like punching my mom or anything like that, but like, you know, doors, throwing things, verbally stealing, all that stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mental abuse is just as cruel.
Absolutely. Yeah. And she has a history. I mean, Fallon's number one go to with my mom was if my mom didn't do or agree or give her what she was asking or saying or anything, you're never going to see my kids again. You're never going to see your grandkids, which is disgusting. I mean, it was to the point where my sister was using those children as weapons against not just my mom, but everybody in the family. Where when she would finally bring them around, she wouldn't even know who we were. Like Fallon would say, "That's your grandma. That's
Oh.
that's so and so," and like the kids would come up and say, "Who are you?" And it would, you know what I mean? Um, And they would even, because children, and I don't, they're innocent, right? And they've heard her say things, and they've repeated it. You know, you're a bad grandma. You're not my aunt. You're mean. You're this. You're that. And it's just, it's coming from her. You know, and that's abuse to her own children. Because then when they start picking up on that behavior, like if the youngest one asks my mom or asked my mom for a cookie and she said no, then it's, you're never going to see me again. Or you're a bad grandma. Bad Nona, because that's what they call her.
Well, this was a comment that she made on one of the lives. Somebody said, I have to have coffee. And then her reply was, when my mom went into an institution, they had coffee.
This is one of the other reasons why I wanted to come on here, because this comment, and then I'm sure the next one you're going to show me, made me sick to my stomach, because my mother was the most beautiful, amazing person in the world, sweetest lady you could ever meet. My mother was never in an institution. I don't know where any of this is coming from. Sympathy. My mother was never institutionalized.
Wow.
My mother was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but she was never institutionalized. She was seeing a doctor and got on medication. And then that was a brief time, and then she was fine after that. Like, there was never an institution involved at any point. Danielle, Steph, was your aunt ever in an institution? And then is she blaming my mother for her cancer? Like, I hate her for this.
She might have been, to play devil's advocate, she may have been referring to the scammer that we were covering, because the scammer that we were covering claimed that her son had brain cancer and he did not.
Yeah.
And so there's been a lot of anger toward this particular scammer for her lying about this in order to get money. So she could have been referring to the scammer, but I think more the reason that this is here is because she was saying she had ovarian stage 2 cancer, and we weren't sure if that was true or not.
Yeah, and that makes more sense. I mean, that makes me feel a little bit better, if that's even possible. But also, just to, point out, like, if this is a girl, my sister, right? I will never call her a woman, despite her age. If this is a female who says that she grew up without love, her mother tried to unalive her, all these things, why would she use that in this comment? Like, me too, I have this. My mom just died of pancreatic. I hate her for this, talking about the scammer. Like, why would you even care that your mom just passed away if she never loved you and she tried to unalive you at one point? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah. I just want to see if I had anything else here.
So she does currently get Medicare benefits, correct?
Medicaid. I don't believe Medicare.
Yeah, sorry, Medicare.
Medicaid. She's always had Medicaid. She gets almost $1,000 a month in food stamps.
Wow.
So if she did perhaps actually have stage 2 ovarian cancer, she could get that taken care of immediately.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And wasn't she also begging your uncle or her, I guess, for money for food, even though she gets almost $1,000 in food stamps per month?
Yes, and that's why my aunt and my uncle were fighting at one point in this whole situation, is because it's like, I'm telling my aunt, hey, hello, remember, she has 4 kids. She also plays the system and doesn't tell them. So she's married supposedly, but I don't think she ever sent in the paperwork. So she kind of has a loophole there, and she gets more money that way through the state. She's a scammer in every sense of the word. So she's even playing the Department of Children and Family Services.
Do you know if she gets any other type of assistance? Like, does she get some type of, like, I don't know, cash assistance, SSI, like anything? I don't know.
Right now, I don't know. I know in the past there have been periods where she did get it. The food stamps, I know that she's been getting at least around $1,000, between $900 and $1,000 every month since she moved here to Florida.
Mm.
Well, briefly after she moved here. Yeah.
So this was this is a video of her in a live that happened recently. She's here in this bottom box. In the middle box is someone who is trying to be a fake me in order to make me look bad. They're using my logo, and that page is meant to try to slander me, basically, because they're upset that we bring the truth. So this was some of the audio from that, and it's just a short clip.
Because I can't seem to keep my mouth shut. But, you know, Sour Patch will know. And like I said, we all, and yes, a little bit of bumpy road right now. But honestly, guys, we have one enemy in common, and it's Scam's team.
Meaning
right?
me.
We need to take them down. They need to stop the bullying. You guys don't understand. Like, just watch for my phase 2. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with my page, but just watch, because there's a shit ton more coming out about what they're doing behind the scenes, what they're doing to people that they really care about. Okay? I need all of us to, like, just try to be on the same page. Okay? I agree. I'm in agreement with all of that. Yeah, this is what we were doing when me and Christina started it. And then, like I said, some snakes come in and out. That's why we're careful with our group. And that's why when the story thing happened, like, damn,
So I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, she's trying to like rally people together to come against us because we are telling the truth.
Yeah.
So,
Typical Fallon.
was there anything else that you guys wanted to add? I mean, one thing that I would really like to know from you, Tina, if you're comfortable telling us, is anything that you wanted to share about your mother, because I'm so sorry for her. I lost my mother as well, and from everything that I've seen and heard, she was a wonderful and amazing lady, and very well loved by family and the community where she lived at.
Yeah, thank you. My mother was nothing that my sister has portrayed. Always smiling, always dancing. If you were crying, she was wiping your tears. She was always the one to step up and try to help any and everyone. Strangers, not just family, friends. I mean, she was the one that you could send into a room and she would come out with 100 new friends. Like, that's just how my mother was. My mother went into hospice on May 3rd. My mother, on May 2nd, just got off a boat, like a party boat, and was dancing with her friends. My mother has lived in pain, physical pain, for years because of her diabetic neuropathy, the pins and rods in her neck. She never let it stop her. When I was pregnant with my son in 2006, I gave birth to him. My mother was hospitalized right before that for a stroke. My mother, her whole face drooped, her left arm, like completely, like she couldn't move it. She was in the hospital. I was scheduled for a C-section September 18th of 2006. She was still in the hospital when I drove myself to my hospital to give birth to my son. My mother signed herself out and told her partner, get me to St. Peter's. She was right there with me in a wheelchair. And when my son was out, she said, give me my grandson. And she held him. My mother was the strongest person I've ever known. She was also the most loving person I've ever known. She loved Fallon, even when Fallon did all these things and made Fallon really hard to love. My mother loved all of her kids equally, her grandkids equally. And that's really, like, I want my sister to stop Okay, my main reason for coming on here was to clear my mother's name, clear my family's name, and to try to spread the truth and let you guys know, like, please do not fall for her. I am tired of seeing people hurt by her, scammed by her, lied to. Like, I'm just tired of it. And I know that, you know, there's 800, there was over 1,000 people on here at one point. It doesn't matter. It matters. It does. And I appreciate you, Sam, for doing this. But Fallon is that type of person. She's just going to move on to the next group of people. So hopefully, hopefully this reaches the masses, because I'm just sick and tired of it. I'm tired of it. And I know my cousins are too. Like, just sick.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And you can see all the love from everybody here.
Absolutely.
Our hearts go out to you.
Fill the chat with hearts for Fallon's family. That would be beautiful. Of everyone, if you could all just do that.
Now let's call it April's family.
Yes, let's call it April's family. You're absolutely right. April's beautiful family.
Would you be willing to maybe address, maybe if someone has a comment or a question, if they want to come into the box respectfully? If they're not respectful or they ask something inappropriate, then that will definitely be stopped. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So if anybody would like to come into the box and ask a brief question or make a comment, that would be appreciated. But please do not bring anything up about children or anything like that. Okay. We're not going to be discussing that. If you want the box, please say box. I know Ghost Whisperer, I think, probably wants the box because. Okay, and Bambi. Yep.
Bambi 007 would like a box.
Okay, we're just gonna do a little at a time here. I'll get you. I'll get you as long as they're willing to. And if you want to stop at any point, you know, please don't feel obligated if it's getting late for you. Okay.
Okay. I'm off tomorrow, thankfully.
Oh, good. Ghost.
First of all, Tina, I just want to say I'm so sorry. Prayers to you and your family, honey. Y'all are beautiful ladies, and y'all did not deserve to go through this. The people in the chat has been asking and asking, and so I come up here to ask: is she 13, felon, whatever? Is she currently using drugs?
I wish I knew. If I had to guess, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she was. She has a very addictive personality, just with everything in her life. I know that she has a marijuana dependency. I don't know if it goes beyond that. I mean, I know that she's dabbled in the past with other close things, but currently I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if she was.
Okay, and other people in the comments were really wanting to know, is she still on TikTok or did she delete her account, and what's her name on here? I don't know. I don't know what her name is now, but
That's a great question, and I will tell you. I mean, I was told of a couple different accounts that she had. Obviously, the 13 vessel one. Every account that I've ever known that she's created, I've blocked because, I mean, like I said, over the past year and a half, I've every so often I get a new view on my TikTok and I see her picture or I see her husband's face. So she's obsessive. So she will just keep creating new ones and new ones and new ones. I'm sure she's
yeah,
probably in there watching from a fake account, to be honest.
probably I get that too, honey. But I just want to say prayers to your family, and I'm sorry for your loss. I know what you're going through. My mother passed away. My sister just passed away last year, so prayers to your family, and I'm sorry y'all got treated the way y'all did by her, and I'm sorry. That's all I can say.
Thank you and your family.
Thank you, Ghost. I appreciate you.
You're
Somebody in
welcome,
the
honey.
comments said they wanted it to be clear. So I'll just ask all of the family members: were you paid anything or given any incentives whatsoever to participate in this?
I was not.
Thank you.
Sorry, not at all. No.
We were not given anything to
Yeah.
come on live.
This was all voluntary because you wanted to,
To
like you
clear
said,
our
share your
aunt's and her
story,
mother's name,
right,
pretty
and
much.
clear your mother's name, especially, and everything. Um, I have Bambi here in the box.
Hi, ladies. How are y'all?
Hi, Bambi.
Hi, Polly. So I'm not gonna come in hot like I normally do. Everybody knows me. I wanted to come in from my heart. First of all, thank you guys so much. I know it took a lot, especially Tina. I know you were going back and forth. We really, really do appreciate you. We were working behind the scenes, and we know how hard this was. Okay. Um, we understand that you guys have been through, to put it bluntly, holy hell. Um, but I wanted to say I see so much strength in y'all, and it's almost as if your mom is sitting here talking to us the whole
Maybe
time
you
you
gonna make
guys.
me cry again.
I'm sorry. I had to say this. And Polly and Scam know my background. They know me. Um, the whole time you guys have been talking, the passion that you spoke about your mom, I saw it coming through y'all. And it literally gave me goosebumps. It made me feel like your mom wanted y'all to be her voice. And I'm trying not to cry myself saying this, but you guys, I know she's looking down right now, so proud of the three of y'all, just like we are. I dare anybody to have a negative word for any of you. Trust me when I say you have a community behind you, and that's 100%. I stand 10 toes on that. You guys are just, I want you to just keep looking in the mirror and seeing your strength and speaking your truth. You guys are amazing. And I just really wanted to come up here in case nobody else gets a chance to say it. I felt like I had to say it. I'm not going to bombard you with questions. I'm not going to say anything else about the other person that this is about right now. This moment is about y'all.
That's right.
Nothing else. So
I
please,
appreciate that so much, and I know all my cousins do right now.
I know, Steph, I wish I could hug you right now, girl. I'm so serious. I followed all of y'all. So feel free to follow back. Feel free to reach out. Um,
Everybody in this room is amazing.
Tina, I actually do need you to reach out to me because I need your help, honey.
I got
Uh
And I
oh.
think I think it's for a good cause. And once I talk to you, you will understand why. Um, but like I said, I just wanted to reach out and let you guys know that everything you said about your mom was right here in front of us. And we appreciate you guys doing this.
Thank you, Bambi.
You're welcome.
You guys
All
have
right.
been great. Like I'm one of those people. I really feel like things happen for a reason, even if it stems from something so ugly. I think that the fact that this community is amazing, and you guys are being so welcoming, and I really do appreciate you doing this. I mean, I was shocked. It was like shocked, but not shocked, right? Because I know my sister, and I just never thought that it would grow to this capacity where she would affect this many people. I thought it was just, it's affecting my family and the people immediately around her, but clearly not. So, Stan, thank you. Everybody in here, thank you. Because, like I said, I wanted to clear my mom's name. I wanted to clear my family. I want her to stop. I really wish that she would get help. because I know that I mean, the evilness aside, there's got to be something in there. I know that, she's a little kid. We've been trying to get her to get therapy, but she needs some kind of intervention, some help. Maybe this will help her. Maybe it won't. I always try to be positive and think like maybe this will be it. I don't know if that's the case. I can only hope.
My advice is, and I'm just spitballing here, protect your mental health, all three of you, but keep your heart open.
Right.
And that is the best advice anybody can give. Because at the end of the day, you cannot save the world. Trust me, I know firsthand. But you can save yourself and protect yourself.
Right.
So I send nothing but light and love to all three of you. And I hope that after tonight, you guys can finally just take a deep breath and understand that you spoke your truth. It's out there. And now you can just breathe.
Thank you, guys.
Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Candy.
You're welcome. All right, Tina, don't forget to reach out to me. Love to you guys. Scam, you can go ahead and drop me.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Would anybody else like the box? I currently have requests from Alyssa, Lieutenants, and Jilly from Philly.
Oh, and Steffi, if you could, Danielle, if you guys could follow me, I'll follow you back.
Yeah,
Alyssa.
sure.
On you,
Absolutely.
it wants to kick you out of the box, so I don't want to do that by accident.
Oh, and when we have Polly's mom.
My mama.
I'll get you next, Lieutenants. Okay, I will get you next, Lieutenants.
Hi, I just want to first say I know what it feels like to lose a parent. I was very close with my dad, and it'll be 5 years in October. And I'm so sorry for your loss. Um, I had a question about something that got brought up tonight, and I'm hoping that maybe there's something being done about it. Um, the thing about the scamming of the women for the sperm, were there ever charges brought against that?
I don't really know 100%. I know that the woman that I spoke with was in the United Kingdom, so I don't really know if she ended up going through with anything. She never reached back out to me after that. I let her know if she needed any information from me that I could help her with, I would definitely be more than willing to give it to her. She never, she never took me up on that. So
The reason I ask is if you can't tell from the name, I'm going through IVF. So I know how hard it is for people, and that broke my heart when I heard that he did that to people. And I really hope that the people that he scammed move forward and do something about that, because it's a very expensive process, and then to have to also get that too makes it even more expensive. um like I ended up actually having to hop off the live and was bawling my eyes out because that broke my heart, because I know how even stressful it is, not even outside of money, how stressful it is to go through that situation, and then to think that you found somebody and then for them to let you go and just block you after you send them money. So I just wanted to know if they did anything, because that is a very rotten and cruel thing to do to somebody. So that's all I wanted to know.
it really is. I understand completely what you're going through and your sentiment. I mean, I felt the same way. And, even though it's not, something that directly, that I've gone through, but it still hits home, right? Because I'm a woman, I'm a mom. One of my best friends was going through, hard times trying to conceive, and she had to go the IVF route as well. Um, she was successful. So, Alyssa, I'm finished for you. I know it's tough, but we've got to stay positive, and I believe that good people get good things. So
Yeah, I'm the problem in my situation. I have a low egg count. So I don't have to worry about having to get like a sperm donor or anything. But when I heard that, I had to hop off at that point because that definitely angered me, that somebody would do that to somebody, especially because as is like for me to go through IVF, I don't know how it is in the United Kingdoms, but for me, it's $16,000 outside of just medication, just for the process, and for you to go spend money to go get a donor and everything, it's very hard. And I've been part of those groups on Facebook where people are talking about it, and hearing that it, even when the screenshot was up and was that they were part of a scam, I said, that is something really rotten to do to somebody, and I I hope karma catches up on that. That's pretty much.
Yeah, I agree. I fully believe in karma, and I think this is part of her karma and his karma and whatever else is to come and everything that they've been through already. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you. I just wanted to know about that.
Thank you, Alyssa. One thing I wanted to also bring up, um, I mean, you came in here apologizing for what your sister did, but me personally, and I think us as a platform owe you an apology because I'm so sorry that Fallon used our platform to say those things about your mother. When she sent us that story, we really believed it. We really did believe her. We trusted her. We empathized with her situation, and we really believed her. And I'm sorry that we even read those words
Yes.
on our platform, and that they were totally not true. And so I am sorry for that.
I appreciate it. I mean, the thing that I know, and I know Danielle and stuff feel the same way, is like good people expect the good in people, right? So it's not like you're going to look at somebody with such a well thought out story and think, oh, she's full of it, you know? So I appreciate it. That, I mean, obviously you guys are good people. You just were expecting that she was one too. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have Midnight Morgana here, who is Polly's mom.
Hi, my mama.
Hi, everybody.
Mama.
First of all, I want to say that I am sorry for your loss, both of you. I know how hard that is. I lost my mother decades ago, but it still hurts. And I have her picture next to me to my left, and I look at her several times a day and say hi. So, yep.
I do the same thing, and I always say the last and most hardest thing my mom ever taught me was how to live without her. So the pain never goes away. It's just something we learn to deal with, and I talk to her every day, so I'm right there with you. It doesn't matter if it's a day, 10 years, 100 years. I mean, it's still gonna hurt.
My mother and I were very close. We both had difficult childhoods, and we both went through hard times with each from the same people in our family that did things they shouldn't. I'll just leave it at that. So, anyway, I look a lot like her too, so I'm glad of that because she was a nice looking woman. And my daughter looks like me too, so
Beauty runs in the family.
um, how long has it been since you lost your mom? I came in here a little late, so.
Yeah, she died May 5th of last year.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
That's still too recent. That's very hard. My daughter has forbidden me to die.
Yeah,
You're
I
allowed.
not allowed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mama.
You're welcome. You
I
can
have,
drop me down now. I just
okay.
wanted to offer my condolences. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. I'll drop you down. Have a good night.
Thanks, Mama. I love you.
I have
Hi.
Lieutenant.
Hi. I just want to say I know what you're going through. I really do. My sister is one of the biggest beggars on this app. Also, I know what you're feeling. My mom passed in 2019, and my father just recently passed in February. And Scam and Polly, I have no disrespect for you guys at all. But from my experience from having to do this with my sister, my own sister on here, there was nothing to gain bringing out the family's laundry. And I know you guys needed to do it to feel better. Trust me, that's why I came on here and I did it. I told everyone about my sister, everything she did, how she scammed people, how I wanted her to get better, to stop doing it. But it just brought more people to her. My sister is Jen and Matt, Bonnie and Clyde, whatever they go by now.
And it's stronger.
Yeah. I do respect what you and Polly and Scam are doing. I really do. But just sitting here, and I was just going to go to bed, and I messaged Scotty's wife, and I'm like, my heart hurts hearing this. It really does. Because I thought my family was the only dysfunctional one that had someone like that. And to hear that there's someone else out there, it's like, holy shit, like that's
Yeah.
that's a lot. But honestly, what do any of us have to gain? I understand that 13 has done all of you dirty. My sister's done everyone in my family dirty. She put my mom in jail. She broke her thumb, all kinds of other things. And my mom had illnesses just like your mom did. My mom was paralyzed from the waist down. She was a type 2 diabetic, had neuropathy in both feet and legs. She stole from my mom the pills and money. I mean, everything. But my thing is, what do any of us have to gain by throwing out? I understand it's awareness. I fully get that. I truly do.
Well, I think it's important
But
to let the family have their say. I mean, she has said these horrible things about a woman who has passed on.
absolutely, and I fully understand that, and that was the whole reason I came on, is because when Jennifer, I heard her talking about those evil, nasty things she was saying about my mom, I wanted to come on and defend my mom, and I defended my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't gain anything from it. I didn't.
Well, maybe in your situation, but
Right,
the situation
and
might be very different.
I get that, and that's why I'm telling her my point of it. Like, just keep in perspective, like, you might not have anything to gain from this. Hopefully she does get help for what's going on with her. I hope and pray she does. But then you also, in reality, have to look. She might just not want to. If she's been like this her whole life, I mean, there's just no fixing it, unfortunately. And I hate saying
Well,
that. I know that from my own sister.
other people need to be warned so they don't fall for the scam.
And I get that. And I totally do. And that's all I'm saying is I get that she had done you guys wrong, really wrong. I mean, honestly, it should have never have happened. But then it should have been kept between you and Scam and her, not having to bring the family in. Because that was our mistake. When Jennifer came out and started begging, everybody reached out for Jennifer's family. And that's why we got brought on the app.
Right.
Because we wanted Jennifer to stop. And she's still begging to this day.
Oh yeah, she absolutely is.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
so,
she is. But
but I mean, that's the whole reason I wanted to come up, and again, I apologize. I understand you guys are bringing awareness. I totally believe it. And they have a voice too. I totally get it. I felt the same way. But coming from my mindset right now, dealing with still the loss of my dad, mom, everything.
Yeah,
I'm not saying the family can't speak. I'm not saying that.
right. The family wanted to come and speak, and originally
Exactly.
it was just going to be Tina originally, and then more family members wanted to join. So
Right.
that's why.
And I get that. I truly do. And I'm just saying my point of it is all, just sit back before you put all that out there. Like, that was my thing. Like, before you put all this out there, sit back and look. Like, I get you want to bring awareness, but what are
No,
you
didn't do that. You're
honestly,
absolutely wrong.
excuse me?
I said if you think we didn't do that, you're absolutely wrong.
Oh, no, no, no. No, I'm not saying that. I was
Okay.
saying, like, just sit back and like think, like, man, I wish I would have done that. Like, sat back like, man, I'm about to do this. I mean, this is going to be a good idea or not. But I was like, you know what, the heck with it. Everybody needs to know. So I was in the same mindset that you guys are. I'm the youngest of 8 kids. Every one of my siblings has been on here and talking about my sister, and she is still doing the same thing to this day. So
Right,
coming from
but the
a
situation may not be the same here. I mean, we hope that this will. There are some situations where it does make a change. Maybe she will not continue to do this, at least not on this app.
oh
At
no,
least
and I
people,
totally get that. I get
at
that.
least maybe some people will be aware that she's a scammer and they won't be participating in whatever next GoFundMe that she comes up with or whatever. So even if it saves one person from being scammed or falling for one of her schemes, or hurting another person by getting close to them and trying to take advantage of them like she did with Polly, it's
Yeah.
worth it. We don't just, I mean, maybe it hasn't worked yet with Jen, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work at some point. We still don't give up.
Which, and I get that, and and I appreciate that you guys are like that, but I just wanted to come on. That was the whole thing I wanted to do, is just come on and say, like, I'm sorry for what you're going through. I know exactly what you're going through because my sister is doing the same thing. And it sucks to see somebody else going through that. I mean, at one point in time, my sister, she sold her own daughter for rugs, you know? Like, there's just no, I mean, there's no low for her. And I hope and pray. I know Jennifer might be a little too far gone. I still hope and pray that she is not. But I am praying that your sister will overcome this and get the help that she needs and rekindle the relationship with her family, with you guys. Because it's living this kind of life knowing that your sister is that way and not having a relationship with any of them just because of history and other things that have happened, it's heartbreaking. And I know this isn't about Jen. I understand that. And I apologize. I was just coming and giving my perspective, saying, I know what you're going through. So I know the pain you're feeling. And it sucks. It really does.
And I'm sorry for what you've gone through, and losing your parents. It's hard, right? And I just want to just touch on just something you said. You what do we have to gain? I didn't come into this to gain anything. I was battling back and forth if I was going to come on here or not, right? And so yeah, clear my mom's name. Um, there's so many different people that I care about because that's just who I am. Her kids are very important to me. And if this is going to affect her in any way, I mean, because I've tried to intervene and talk to her and do all these things to get her to see the error in her ways and change her life, and that hasn't worked. But just like they said, you don't give up, right? Because
Right.
what I have to hopefully gain is saving her kids from the situation they're in, saving my sister from herself. I mean, and other people from getting hurt by her and scammed by her. Me myself, I have nothing against personally, but it's something that needs to be brought to light when she's affecting so many people. If we can stop her from doing it to one more person, it's worth it to me.
Absolutely. And again, I fully understand what you're saying, and I didn't want to make it seem like you and your family weren't allowed to come and voice how you feel. You have every right to voice how you feel. I was just simply saying, like, hey, I've been there. Here's my input on what happened with me. And again, I apologize if you think that I was just trying to, make it seem like you weren't allowed to speak your truth,
Yeah.
because everyone
I
has
didn't
that right
take
to
it.
do that.
I didn't take it in any way like that, and I understand. Just like me and my family are going through the pain of dealing with what we dealt with my sister. You're
Hmm.
going through your own thing, and I don't. I'm not familiar with Jen. I don't know the story. I don't know, but I know human emotion is valid and you're allowed to have your feelings. I don't take any of that personally because my situation and like my just everything is different from yours, and
Hmm.
we go through the motions the way that feels best to us. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I don't take anything personally, and I get where you're coming from, and I know that there's a lot of emotion in you about your situation too. I can hear it, so
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I'm praying for you. I wish it will come to an end quickly because I don't want to see your beautiful family go down the same path of what we have went down. So I do truly feel for you. I will pray for you and your family. And again, I'm sorry for your mom's loss. I know that pain. My mom passed in 2019. So the whole point of the whole part where you said that it just gets easier. Yeah, some days are easier, but it's still hard. And I mean, of course, everyone who's lost a mom understands that, or any parent. Um, but just know I'm praying for you. I'm sorry, I'm rambling now. My emotions. I'm so sorry.
Well,
My prayers are with you and your family, and I hope that she will stop soon. Okay. And then Scam and Polly, I do respect you guys, and I apologize for any issues that came across, making it seem like I was talking about her. I did not want to disregard this family's feelings or anything whatsoever.
okay.
So
Thank you so much. I
have a good
appreciate it.
night.
And one other thing I wanted to mention, Tina, that I thought about was, I could tell that you also cared not just about your sister, but about the people who are being scammed, because we saw all your messages going back and forth with like Nicole, who was scammed in the Walmart thing, even though she kind of participated in some of the stuff,
Walgreens. Yeah.
and you were communicating with the people that were involved in the sperm scam. Like I could tell that you cared about these people that were being scammed, and you wanted that to stop. You were kind of doing your own little scam busted mission, kind of in a way there on your own.
Yeah. No, I just want to say, like I too have lost both my parents in 2019, 109 days apart, and like you guys happen to deal with, this kind of stuff is just atrocious. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't have any siblings, so you know, I'm sorry, you guys. Like, it's just crazy, and for you guys to have a voice and to share your mom and your aunt's story just breaks my heart to have to relive it. You know what I mean? And to basically re-victimize, or your mom's story. You know what I mean? And it's disgusting, just absolutely disgusting. So, I mean, I pray for you guys and everything, and you got a huge family here. You guys are not alone. You'll
Mm-hmm.
never be alone. And I too, I'm a night owl. So if you guys are a night owl, just reach out and message any of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, welcome to disco if y'all want to.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, if
So,
anybody wants to join, we call it the disco because we don't say the name of the real app.
uh,
Just feel anybody here can, if you're not already in there, you can feel free to email me at scamslam411@gmail.com, and I will send you an invite. And we are on there. 20. There's people on there 24/7 that you can talk to, chat with, have little watch parties, watch different things on TikTok or whatever.
slumber parties.
Um,
Yes,
and
slumber parties.
we have slumber parties, we have
Mhm.
snoring parties, we have listen, we bullshit in there. And we have a